When it comes to meeting with existing clients, we better have our act together. And faking it usually doesn't work. It's going to get you in trouble. You want to make sure you're going into every sales situation fully prepared and knowing what was going on with the services you sold them previously. So if you're a firm that sells multiple matters to a single client, business transactional, sometimes asset protection, sometimes estate planning. Certainly there are other features. Maybe it's the same client, but different practice areas. So a question that's asked all the time is, should we use a different script than the 19 steps if we were closing a deal or a new matter with an existing client? This question came from Joel Silverman, Entrepreneurial Attorney of the Year, finalist with our world. He's built a very successful practice in the estate planning, business transaction, as well as some estate litigation world. And he has several clients who they do business with over and over and over again. They were taking their referrals and they were sending them directly to their attorneys rather than their non-attorney closer. And so he was like, hey, my attorneys are pushing back because our referrals are going up, thank goodness, but now they're getting crowded and I had taken away all the consults from them and now they kind of like that and they want my non-attorney closer to do it, but I'm wondering, is that okay? Should we use a different script? And of course, the answer is absolutely. Just because a referral doesn't mean they should go to the attorney. The sale is fundamentally the same. The difference is we have a relationship with them already, so we can leverage that relationship, but we should follow the same fundamental structure. And the script should stay slightly augmented for a referral. So you should have different scripts for different situations, and maybe it's different practice areas, a different script for cold traffic as compared to a script for warm traffic. And I'm just gonna outline for you what you should pay attention to inside the 19 steps. Here's the basic 19 steps framework that we use. And so the question is, would we do step number 1, housekeeping? Well, of course we would. We would still make sure we talk to them, except it would be in a much more casual tone. So when you build a script, it's important to have a tonality key. And so you're developing this tonality key. It's casual, not so formal, not as if they don't know you. It's like, hey, Bob, we record these calls for training purposes. Are you okay with that? It's less formal, right? And then setting expectations, right? So step 2, are we still going to do it? Well, absolutely. The difference is that we're going to do it in a way that is, again, casual, rather than saying, now we're going to be together for about 20 or 30 minutes. I'm going to say something like, hey, Bob, listen, we should be able to bang this out pretty quickly. Let me figure out exactly what's going on for you. And then we'll start to see what your options are. Bob knows us, right? And then we bridge over the story. That doesn't change. Develop their hell, meaning we want to know what their pain is. Why are they dealing with this issue? What are they afraid of? Getting into their heaven, understanding what a win looks like. All that's going to still happen. In a more casual way, we're going to have some history about who this client is. An attorney salesperson should be doing some homework, but that should happen all the time. If you'd like to learn more about how to develop the proper scripts in your firm, maximize your close rate, the amount of money you get paid as a down payment if you're a fee-based firm, and get some consistency in your sales process, go ahead and visit us at thelawfirmsecret.com. You can schedule a 10-minute call with us. If we're a fit, great. If we're not a fit, well, no big deal. We can step aside, but at least we can take 10 minutes, see if we're a fit for one another. And if we are, we can learn to take the next step. We should always be getting prepared for sales calls before the sales call, right? Talking about the firm's origin story, I'm not going to be as formal with this and get, our firm is blah, 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 has served over 395,000 clients and discharged millions of dollars in debt. I'm not going to do that. It's going to be more like, hey, Bob, good news is what we did for you last time, you liked the experience, right? Great. Well, the same thing with this. We're going to treat you the same way, and we're going to end with a question. And so you want us to do as good of a work in this job as you did in the last one, right? Or something very casual. And then we're going to move into their options. So they have to understand what their options are, and they have to understand the services and our benefit statements. That's not going to change because it's going to be relevant to their case. I can tone it down a little bit so it doesn't feel as much like a sales call as more a relationship. Then we're going to quickly talk about the investment, and I'm still going to get quasi permission, and then I'm still going to offer whatever the guarantee is for that particular service offering that we have. Know that if they bought from you the first time and you offered a guarantee and you don't offer a guarantee on this one, they might go, hey, is there a guarantee? So you should go, just like we offered you last time, we have the same guarantee with this situation, and then we're going to provide the investment. Now, moving forward, I should have his credit card on file. I'm going to say, hey, do you want us to use the same Visa you have or the Amex you have on file? Or if you guys have an invoicing issue, because like you have a larger client and you invoice over, you offer them terms of some sort, well, then you're going to just fill in the same terms. If you have an opportunity to discount for paid in full, you're certainly going to give them that opportunity rather than paying over time. Just because they're an existing client may not mean that they don't need a payment plan. You're going to summarize the relationship and you explain the next steps. All of these things are still going to happen, right? So now that I've shared that 19 steps with you, I hope you understand the way in which we go about building this script and structure out isn't going to be different except in tonality, familiarization, as well as just making sure we're doing our homework about what they purchased from us before, what matter we served them with before, so that we can have an intelligent conversation when we're working with them. We don't want to say something stupid and reference something that we already did. Here's an excellent example of what not to do. So as many of you know, I was in the funeral business. I was never really great with names. And there was a window where I had 2 funeral homes and my uncle had one and I was helping him build that. And we decided to cover for each other and take 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. So we would work for 2 weeks and we'd have 2 weeks off. Imagine 26 weeks of vacation a year. Sounds amazing, right? We would work 90-hour weeks. And every Sunday we'd get together and he'd hand me the pile of files and we would go through them one at a time to make the transition. You would go on this 2-week stretch when you worked with very little sleep, working until you took your 2 weeks off. Needless to say, by the way, end of that story is, it didn't last more than a year because it was so exhausting. Back to my point. How do you make a stupid decision? You mix in a dash of overworked, complete exhaustion, burnout, and not a very good sharp brain for names to begin with. This guy comes up to me at one of the funerals I was holding, and we were just making small talk, and I know I had buried his wife's sister, and I said to him, hey, how's Sally doing? And he looked at me, he goes, well, you should know, you guys buried her about 6 months ago. When it comes to meeting with existing clients, we better have our act together. And faking it usually doesn't work. It's going to get you in trouble. You want to make sure you're going into every sales situation fully prepared and knowing what was going on with the services you sold them previously. All right, I hope you got a laugh out of my pain. I've been doing this a long time. I've made every mistake there is to make. If you'd like to learn more about how to develop the proper scripts in your firm, maximize your close rate, the amount of money you get paid as a down payment if you're a fee-based firm, and get some consistency in your sales process, go ahead and visit us at thelawfirmsecret.com. You can schedule a 10-minute call with us. If we're a fit, great. If we're not a fit, well, no big deal. We can step aside, but at least we can take 10 minutes, see if we're a fit for one another. And if we are, we can learn to take the next step. Hope that helps. Make it a great day.